new areas of cooperation that have arisen and the very strong and determined effort that the Government of India is making to enhance our strategic partnership with the Central Asian regions. And the Prime Minister's forthcoming virtual summit with the Central Asian leaders on 27th has come not too soon. And I think this will further open up new opportunities in promoting, cementing our ties with the region, which is in our extended neighborhood and with which we have historical and cultural ties. I think the efforts made in the last few years, particularly since the visit of the Honorable Prime Minister to Central Asian republics in 2015, has borne dividend. And we see this now in mushrooming of our contacts and improvement of connectivity and opening up of new vistas, particularly in the defense and security field, about which we talked today the whole day. I think the initiative to reach out to the Central Asian republics through various initiatives is very timely because the world has changed so rapidly in the last few years and the geopolitical situation has altered so dramatically that India cannot afford to remain a bystander. We have talked about Central Asian republics for the last 30 years. And I do remember during my days in the MEA in 92, when now we are celebrating 30 years, there was a team which was sent by the Ministry of External Affairs soon after the demise of the Soviet Union to look at how India's relations with the newly emerging republics could be strengthened. And that is how our diplomatic ties were set up. And during the early 90s, all the Central Asian leaders, except for Ramanov, because the civil war was going on in Tajikistan at that time, they came to Delhi, and that is how our relationship began to be established. But I think it has taken almost 30 years for us to really start looking at Central Asia as a region of strategic importance for India. And it is, as I said, none too soon. And Eurasia, which is the heart of Asia, we have seen so many important developments. The inroads which China has made, now the emergence of Russia as a security provider in the region, the developments in Afghanistan, the rise of terrorism and fundamentalism, radicalization, and the problems that Iran is having with the rest of the world. Now, these changes are so staggering in their importance that India has no option but to engage with the Central Asian region in a strategic way and also invest a lot. And I think that is what has come out today in our discussions. There were discussions on the emerging geopolitical situation, the security situation. There was discussion on connectivity, and there was discussion on defense and security cooperation. And a most important message which came out was that the initiatives that we have taken are well regarded, very timely, but we have to put a lot more effort in these initiatives in future. For instance, connectivity, we talked about Chabahar, but Chabahar has to be linked with the hinterland infrastructure that has to be developed, in which India has to take the lead. We have been talking about the north-south transport corridor for many years, but it is still not a viable corridor. And now we're talking about the integration of Chabahar with the INSTC, etc. These are some of the initiatives which are very important for India. We also heard that Chabahar in the last few years, couple of years, I think its performance has improved. It is now handling more of the cargo, etc. And yet it is facing competition from the neighboring ports. And also it is the infrastructure, the logistics infrastructure, etc., is still to be developed. So I think India has to take the lead and make sure that we invest in these very strategic initiatives. Take Central Asian countries along with us, take Iran with us, and now, of course, Russia, whose security role in the region, particularly after the developments in Kazakhstan, the role of Russia, the CSTO, has come out very clearly. Clearly, there is a need for firstly assessing these developments and with the Central Asian leaders, jointly with the Russia, and also coming out with the further initiatives. So I think India-Central Asia relations are entering into a new phase, and that's very welcome. We could leverage many of our capabilities that we are now developing in our defense industrial arena, about which the last session was very informative and very useful. I think, apart from the India Central Asia dialogue that we have had, which includes many factors, many areas, but it would be also useful, perhaps, this is my personal opinion, to set up a specific defense dialogue, which could, of course, we have had an NSA level dialogue, which is already on, which discusses Afghanistan, etc. But we have to perhaps look at how to promote defense production. We have to look at how we can set up a military-to-military ties and build upon all the MOUs, etc., that we have signed. So I think India, Central Asia, there is ample scope for taking this partnership to newer heights by looking at effective institutions and also building on the convergences, particularly on the security elements that we have been discussing with them, the new security elements that have arisen. And I think there is a lot that we can do. So thank you, Madam Minister, for being with us. And VIF, Vivekananda International Foundation, is very happy to join hands with the BW Defense for organizing this wonderful seminar. And a lot of new ideas have come in, and I would hope that the organizers would be able to put together some document which could be useful for both the Ministry of External Affairs and the Ministry of Defense. Thank you very much.